Tonight's topic is about forgiveness. To forgive is the ability to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense or a mistake. Um, it's important to forgive in order to have a successful relationship, right?
Right. First you get revenge, and then you forgive them. Simple.
So,
No, just joking. Just joking.
to forgive does not mean to forget um, or to condone. To forgive just means that you're choosing to try to find a way to let go of the hurt and the pain
Yes.
and probably the sadness that has been caused by the offense. It also requires patience, patience on behalf of the person that's doing the forgiving
Yes.
and the person that needs to be forgiven.
Yes.
I think it's also important that in order for you to be able to understand how to communicate with each other, you have to be in touch with how it really truly feels to have been hurt in the first place. Whether it's
Definitely.
right hurt, rejection, loneliness, fear, sadness, pain, you have to be able to identify those things for yourself so that when you're talking to the person that has hurt you, you're able to clearly express what you're experiencing, which means that you have to be vulnerable, which is very hard to do when someone has already hurt you or already has put you in a place to feel um, like you've been hurt. It's hard to be vulnerable in that space. The window to your authenticity is through your vulnerability. So it pays to be vulnerable. Holding on to unforgiveness is toxic.
Very.
You know, sometimes we think that it's hurting the other person because we're angry and we're not letting it go. But honestly, the only person that's hurting is the person that's not forgiving. Again, easier said than done. That's why it's called a process. And so, for the person that does the forgiving, explore how you feel, explore why you feel that way. Share with each other, share with with that person what you need. And for the person that is needing to be forgiven, what are some of the things you think that they need to do?
And they got to be patient for one. They need to really put themselves in that other person's shoes and understand what they're going through and why they're mad. I mean, if you ask somebody for forgiveness, they mean you have to know your offense. You got to know what you did that was offensive. So you got to put yourself in their shoes to understand why they want to be forgiven. And if it take time, it just take time. I mean, so everybody's clock is different. You probably can get over something in a few days. It might take somebody else a year. But if you're going to make it work, if you're gonna, it's going if y'all want to work through it, you're gonna have to push through it. That's all it is to it. It takes work,
You rhymed.
unintentional.
Just smooth like that. And then one other thing too is, as we said, choosing to forgive is important. It's a choice. Um, the only reason why we hold on to unforgiveness is because we're choosing not to forgive. So you have to make a conscious effort, make a decision that that's what you want to do, forgive.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's not easy at all, because when there is an offense, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into all of that. And so, how do I trust you again? How do I allow myself to open up to you again? It just takes time, you know.
Yeah.
It's a process. So if there's any unforgiveness out there, try to figure out a way to explore what you're experiencing, explore how you feel and why. And more than anything, take a moment to understand what you need and be able to sit down with that person and talk to them about what you've experienced and what you're needing from them in order for you guys to be better. And hopefully that person can hear you and meet you at your need and take care of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nope. I think we went through it pretty good.
Okay. Well, guys, we wanted to just stop in tonight and share our thoughts on uh, forgiving and why it's important to do it, and how it can help in relationships, how important it is. Listen, if there is and we talked about this before, in relationships, if I'm upset with him and I'm not willing to forgive him for something, then our relationship is failing. If he's upset with me and he's not willing to forgive me for something, then our relationship is failing. He may feel like he's doing a good thing by having an attitude with me, but what is that saying for our relationship? What is that doing for our relationship? Nothing. But if he's upset with me and he comes to me and he talks to me about it, and I say, you know what, babe, I'm going to work on that. And he trusts me and chooses to forgive me for whatever offense I've done, then our relationship is going to be great. Right?
Absolutely, right.
So, do you have to forgive me for things?
Hmm.
Is
Not
it-
often, but yeah.
Is it easy?
Yeah, it's always easy with you.
Oh,
But, there's been times where I forgive you, but I feel like you don't understand where I'm coming from, and then it stretches out. But then we talk
True.
about it a little bit. I think a lot of that is just, I don't know, just communication, I guess. But as far as forgiveness, I think we always forgive each other pretty good.
I think it goes back to what you said earlier about if you want it, you need to work for it. So,
Yeah.
like when you talk to me and I don't get it, then it's not like you just go, okay, whatever, forget it. You come to me again at a different angle
Yeah,
until you feel like I get it.
yeah.
Okay.
And then, and like I say, like nobody's perfect, and
True.
I've done probably terrible things, and I have to ask for forgiveness. And like I say, if it take time, it take time. And sometimes I'm like, man, I apologize, and it should be okay. But sure, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to roll with it, and if it take a while, it take a while because you're probably still hurt behind it. You know what I'm saying? And I got to
Right.
understand that the type of turmoil that I put you through. You know what I'm saying? You have to be vulnerable on both sides, like to put yourself out there and apologize for one thing, and then you also have to be patient on both sides, because the person, if you're going to forgive somebody, you have to be patient, and like we just said, the person that's looking for forgiveness has to be patient because they might not let it go that fast. And
Yeah, I think the key is communication. I think that is the key.
yeah, communicating about it, and then the other person have to work through their own. Like if I'm mad, I have to work through, like, okay, my own emotions and feelings about the
Right.
situation.
But see, anger is a secondary emotion. So you're not really angry. You may be hurt or disappointed or discouraged or frustrated or,
Mad as hell. No, I'm playing. No, I'm playing.
But if you came at me and was like, I'm mad as hell, what does that accomplish? Nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So being able to, like I said earlier, be vulnerable and find, if you come to me and say, you hurt me or that upset me or, even that frustrated me, I'm going to stop and listen and want to know what was that, because that's not my intent. My intent is not to hurt you. But then at the same time, too, in communication, you can also discover how possibly there's work for both of you to do. Because in relationships, when something isn't working or when there's an issue, there's a role that each person plays in it. And you have to
Yeah.
ask yourself, what role am I playing in it? And I remember doing that before when I had to forgive you for something. I was like, okay, so what role did I play in this? And I had to actually own up to, like, okay, I didn't condone, nor did I accept the offense. I just saw the role I played in it, and so moving forward, now what? How to make this better? And I think that, after going through the offense and working through it and communicating about it, that we were made better for it.
I think so.
I think so.
We super strong.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. I think so. We super duper strong.
Oh, Lord. So, anyway, we wanted to come to you guys tonight and just kind of share a little bit about forgiveness. It is important to forgive. Don't hold on to it. Don't let it eat you up. It's not hurting the other person. And sometimes when there is an offense, there is no going back. You know, there are times, let's just be real, there are times when there are certain offenses that there's no going back.
Right.
But it still serves you to forgive, even though you have to move on, even though you have to cut ties, even though you have to let people go. It's
Yeah.
still important to do that with forgiveness.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You just
Right.
y'all aren't going to work, but you still have to forgive him.
Right.
Yeah,
Because why would you carry that around? Right.
yeah,
So anyway, thank you guys for taking the time out to kind of listen to us, kind of just talk tonight. You know, sometimes we sit around and talk and have these kind of conversations between the two of us, and so we just figured we'd just start sharing them. So thanks for allowing us to share with you on tonight. May you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. God bless from the Edinburghs.